So, hello everyone. This is an exclusive interview series with successful business analyst candidates, business analysis practitioners. I'm Rashmi, your host for today's session. So, this interview is intended to provide inputs to the aspiring candidates who are in their business analyst journey. And today we have invited Aarthi Dolagar, who is a business analyst professional, and she has recently cracked CBAP certification examination. Again, to mention, it is one of the challenging certification exam in the domain. So many congratulations, Aarthi, for that.
Thank you.
So let us begin, Aarthi. So can you tell
Sure.
us about yourself, Aarthi? Yeah.
Oh, sure, definitely. So, first of all, good morning and good evening, everyone. And thank you, Techcanvass, for giving me the opportunity to share my CBAP success story with you all. As Rashmi has introduced me, I'm Aarthi Dolagar, currently working as a senior BSA in a management consulting firm in Canada. I have over 12 years of IT experience and have progressively transitioned from a .NET developer to a business system analyst role. And I have worked on various large scale enterprise applications across various industries and domains, such as artificial intelligence, mining, banking, healthcare, and reinsurance, to name a few.
Very
So
nice.
that's
Nice
about
to
me.
know. Yeah. So when did you do the CBAP certification, Aarthi?
Actually, I had decided to pursue my CBAP certification last year in the summer, but and I also took formal training from Techcanvass to earn my PDUs in spring of 2020, and submitted my CBAP application in June last year. However, due to work commitments, I had to appear and cleared my CBAP exam in June this year.
Right, right. So, yeah, how did you plan your preparation, knowing that you are working and you have a family also to look after? So, how, being working professional and taking care of the family and this everything together, it will be very challenging for this CBAP certification. How did you plan that?
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Rashmi. That is, it is quite challenging to balance your work, family, and of course the CBAP preparation. So I started preparing 2 months prior to my exam due date, which was in June. So I started in April and May. I used to dedicate approximately an hour or two during weekdays, listening to the
Mhm.
class recordings first, followed by the chapter reading, and around 6 to 8 hours on weekends when I used to attempt knowledge area specific tests after each chapter revision, and of course the case studies. And I also took 2 days off from work prior to my exam due date. And during those 2 days, I gave a thorough reading of PEBOK and even attempted to full length simulation tests from Techcanvass just right before my exam. And also a quick note, I didn't subscribe to Watermark Learning, and neither did I get time to practice any tests from their website. Overall, I think I spent around 160 to 180 hours for my CBAP certification. This includes the training session from Techcanvass, of course, which I did last year.
Okay, great, great. So, during your preparation, what was the most challenging part you faced?
Okay, so apart from balancing one's work priorities with the preparation and also the overwhelming web syllabus that we have with the 6 knowledge areas and each with respective inputs, outputs, elements, tasks, and the list goes on. So there was another main challenge that I had to come across. So as I mentioned earlier, my initial intent was to write the certification immediately after my training session last year. And in fact, I had submitted my CBAP application that got approved as well in last June. So I just had like 1 year time frame to appear for the examination this year in June. So this caused me a bit stress as I had to revise everything once again. But thanks to the Canvas LMS, which is so well structured, it has so much of material there. I started listening to the class recordings for each knowledge area. And then I started referring back to the notes that I had prepared during the training sessions, all the questions that I had asked during the training sessions. So I started referring to my notes. So this kind of I had to redo everything. So my advice to the CBAP aspirants is to not procrastinate as I did, but to write the examination when all the preparations and the training sessions, everything is fresh in your mind.
Perfect. So, yeah, Aarthi, during your preparation, any time you felt that you were feeling little low in your confidence, that this is not the time to, you are not ready yet?
Yes, of course, definitely. I'm sure everyone, will have that moment during their preparation, and even did I. So when I was attempting the knowledge area specific test on Techcanvass, after giving like one reading of the BEBOK, I just gave one reading of the BEBOK, and I started, testing my knowledge area specific knowledge. So I noticed that I was still scoring around 40 to 50%. So I knew there was something wrong in the approach that I was taking while answering the question. And I noticed that I was actually relating the solutions to what I practice in my daily job function. So, which might or might not have been the best solution from the work perspective. So what I did then was I changed my strategy to stick to the box perspective, and then I gave two thorough readings, and then I noticed that I was scoring around 80% in each of the knowledge area. So this kind of boosted my confidence, and this is how I proceeded in my preparation.
Okay, so your tip is to stick to the BABOK guide.
Exactly. And never to apply your real life business analysis practice that you use at workplace.
Right. So how much time did you take for the preparation? You mentioned 2 months. Other
2
than
months.
that?
Other than that was the training session, of course, that I had from Techcanvass. And during that time also, I used to, give a chapter reading and ask Satish all my questions in the next class. And I used to prepare my notes and everything. So it was kind of stored in my memory. I just had to recollect it. So kind of like 3 months of the training session and 2 months of my own preparation. So around 5 months.
Okay. So this question is actually a little different. Can you explain your exam day, your mental preparation, you know, your your state that day when you were appearing for the exam?
Oh, of course. I mean, of course, you will be definitely tensed, stressed, and everything, and you will forget everything. It seems like you forgot everything, even though you gave a thorough reading 3 times. So, and to add to that stress, actually, I went for online proctored exam because I was a bit hesitant to go to the exam center during COVID.
Right.
But I made a note of all the guidelines and detailed instructions provided on the IIBA website. I was asked to log in 30 minutes prior to the exam start time. And of course, the regular formalities of showing photo identification, the room setup, and of course, no personal belongings except for a blank paper, which I had asked if I can use during the test, and clear glass of water were allowed. So all this process actually took more than 30 minutes for me. And the proctor was actually using my exam time as well. So this kind of stressed me out. And also, I couldn't do the memory dump of the tasks for each knowledge area that I was planning. And I had to immediately start my exam. And during the examination, the proctor was asking me to remove my hand. I mean, like we are thinking we'll just put our hands, right? So she was asking me to, remove my hand from the face as it was blocking the view. So it was kind of distracting, but after first 30 minutes, like things were settled and the proctor didn't ask me any question and I was completely able to focus on my examination. So again, here, my advice to all the aspirants is to go to a designated test center and write your exam if possible.
Right. So, another important question for all the aspirants. would you like to share some tips and tricks for this CBAP certification?
Oh, of course, there would be definitely some tips and tricks as well that I can share. So, the first and the most important tip, which I guess everybody knows, and it's an open secret, is to give a thorough reading of the web book at least 3 times, including, I would say, including the techniques. I know the techniques are very detailed, 50 techniques, but they
50.
are really, really important because
Right.
the techniques are evenly distributed in all those questions, 120 questions. So you cannot escape from them.
Miss it.
Yeah, yeah. So, and second tip would be definitely, as I mentioned earlier, is to answer the questions from WebOps perspective and never use the real life business analysis practice that we use at workplace. Sometimes, as this might or might not be the best approach as per the law. And the third tip, which I used, was to use acronyms for the tasks for each knowledge area. So once you understand the purpose of each knowledge area and the tasks that are involved, you can easily relate the stakeholders and the techniques for each of these knowledge areas. So you can connect the dots and everything. And also, like, you can easily jot down these acronyms on a piece of paper because you're allowed to, use a piece of paper for doing all the calculations and everything. So you can immediately jot down those acronyms before the exam starts, like for your reference purpose. And the fourth and the most important tip that I used was to not spend too much time on a question that you're stuck on. Instead, mark it for review. And also, what I did was I provided the closest answer, if possible, that you think is correct, because time is essence, and you don't want to waste the time, right? So make use of the entire exam duration to go over the questions that you had marked for review, and also the questions that you are not confident about. So I think these tips and tricks would definitely, help you out during your examination.
Definitely. Wonderful. Thanks for the advice, Aarthi.
Yeah,
And
I think so.
we want to know how the life has changed after your CBAP certification. Any change in your perspective towards the career? Do you
Oh,
see?
definitely. I mean, life is great. I'm very glad to be a CBAP, and I can
Wow.
still feel the sense of accomplishment. And
Fantastic.
all thanks to IIBA and Techcanvass. And I'm successfully progressing in my career path, and I'm able to apply all my learnings, insights, perspectives, and even the techniques that I learned through my CBAP journey.
Awesome. So one good thing which I have always seen with the IIBA certifications is that the candidates suddenly they exude the confidence level. It shoots up,
Yeah,
and that confidence is actually it is required in your professional, not only in professional, in your personal journey also it is required.
right.
So
That's totally correct. Yeah.
right, yeah. So that's how the life is all about, yeah.
Yeah,
So
exactly. And especially the main advantage was the techniques because there are 50 techniques and I'm sure you wouldn't use all the 50 techniques in your business analysis career, right? In fact, I admit that I never used all those 50 techniques. So it kind of exposed me to all those techniques and the context where I would be able to apply them, so that kind of helped me, and I have started just I have broadened my the techniques that I use in my daily job function, so that
right.
kind of has helped me.
Right. And even it would have actually, helped you to your, the willpower to change, to accept the challenges. Because now, if you have certified
Mhm.
CBAP, that means, next challenge, you are ready to accept next challenge, whatever come, on your way. You are ready
Right,
for that.
right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, uh, any said. I mean, we have already covered this question, but it is there in my list. Any value add do you see for the aspirants as CBAP certification or any IIBA certification? Do you
Oh,
think so?
definitely. Yes, yes. That's a very good question, actually. So, the ways that CBAP certification has added value in my career and my life is, first and foremost is, I have gained that knowledge, and actually I wanted to align myself with the best industry practices for business analysis profession. And definitely it would help in your career growth in any organization, right? And it gives you recognition among your team members and peers, as everyone loves to be recognized for their work, right, in their organization. And and also, as I mentioned earlier, that I'm able to leverage and apply the BEBOP concepts and techniques, in my daily life at workplace. And also, I have actually noticed that I receive more calls from the recruiters related to new job opportunities in the market, because
Wonderful.
nowadays CBAP certification is considered as an asset, right? So I have noticed that as well.
Wonderful, wonderful. It's really nice to know about this, your value add, the value add by CBAP to your, yeah, very
Oh,
nice.
yes, yes, yes.
So thanks, Aarthi. It was indeed a wonderful session and wonderful to have you with us. And all the very best for your career ahead. Many wishes from Techcanvass team.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Hope my experience has provided some guidance to you all in clearing your CBAP. And thanks for having me. All the best.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.